The first thing most people thought when Netflix announced that they would be pursuing anime was more anime like Violet Evergarden, deep, fleshed-out stories. Netflix was even dubbed the savior of anime, which was obviously an overreaction and yet another sign of the times with the hype marketing that the internet pushes onto their favorite things. AICO was sadly an anime to fall victim to this sort of marketing, but is some of the criticism that the anime received just? Is the English dub actually that bad? Well, let's start the review. Set in the near future in Japan, year 2035, a major incident was known as Burst, which was caused by researching artificial life. A certain AI called Matter has eroded a Kurobe Gorge, entering the research city, which has been prohibited by the government. 2 years later, Aiko Tachibana, a 15-year-old girl who lost her family from the incident, was told by a transfer student named Yuuya Kanzaki that the truth that Aiko didn't know regarding a secret hidden within her body. The key to solve the mystery is said to be in the primary point, the center of Burst. When a boy and a girl who bears the future of humanity meet, what will be the new truth? And I don't know who wrote this synopsis, but man, you need to find a day job, because that's a terrible synopsis. AICO Incarnation is a Netflix-funded anime from Studio Bones. The anime Bones are known for are varied, with the Fullmetal Alchemist series, My Hero Academia, Blast of Tempest, and Zammed, Lost Memories, of course, everyone knows that one. This anime also marks one of the first of Netflix's new doubling down on Japanese anime. Also, the director for AICO is Gargantua on the Vertus Planets director, Kazuya Murata, and if you're interested in a great Murata-directed series, then check out that anime. I actually have a review for it up on my channel right now. Anyways, you can find this anime on Netflix at pretty much 24 minutes a piece with 13 episodes, so go check it out, enjoy it, it's a fun ride. The story for AICO is much like what was popular in the 90s and 2000s. You'll hear this more in the review, of course, but it's a modern version of Blue Gender. It also has great ideas in this anime, from the burst, the suits they have, and even the ability to grow human brains and bodies. But they fail to go in depth on this subject and leave it at face value. It's a lot of pseudoscience, sadly, and they didn't even have to go that route, just because the other day I read about people growing hamburgers for just $11. So this anime in some ways is brilliant for having those elements in there, but it just fails to capitalize on the premise to the fullest extent. And that's how I describe most things about this anime. They could have gone in a cool direction with the burst and what it is, but they don't. They could also go into detail about the world and build it up, but they don't. This anime has a lot of missed opportunities that make me scratch my noggin. They have some prime real estate for building a very interesting and well done story, but they just don't. As it is though, AICO is a well-paced, decent story with a lot of great ideas that fail to capitalize on pretty much anything. If there is one beacon of hope though, it is that the last 6 to 7 episodes are highly entertaining with its action and story development.
絶対にすりむいたと思った。よかったよ、怪我なくて。しかし試合中に寝るなんて、やっぱりまだ体育は無理なんじゃないの？
Characters in this anime are pretty much your archetypal characters from the 2000s or late 90s. We have the character that needs to be protected because they are the chosen one within the plot. Then you have the character with all the plans to get them there, even if it is a little reckless. Then you have everyone else, which serves as a vehicle for mindless exposition to get the main characters from point A to point B. If you've seen Blue Gender, it's just Blue Gender. If you've seen actually anything from the late 90s, you've likely seen AICO a million times before. These characters are very bland, and while I actually do like AICO, our main character, I can't like any of the others, to be honest. And that comes down to them all being very bland and a hollow body that just regurgitates the plot. Hell, I like AICO, but not as much as I probably should, because her pros are that she's the center of the plot and she does some pretty awesome stuff. Also, her character is just genuinely interesting, but that is somewhat ruined by the show's lackluster writing. I wouldn't call the characterizations that good in this show, and it just feels very forced and formulaic, honestly. AICO just has boring characters. That's kind of what it comes down to. For character designs, Aiko's look somewhat generic. If you followed me for a bit, you will know that generic character designs is what I really do not like, and this anime has them for nearly every one of the characters. For example, the main male character, the silent protagonist, looks pretty much exactly like the main character from Full Metal Panic. Not only that, but it seems the only design they wanted to put a lot of effort into was Aiko. That makes sense, of course, as she is the main character, but it is kind of sad because while the characters don't look outstanding, some of the things they wear, the gear they have, they look awesome. And I think that even makes up for some of the genericism the regular characters have. For example, the suits and weapons they use look pretty awesome. They didn't look like the greatest designs ever, but they made the show look that much better when you take out character designs. And that's the thing about this anime and how it looks. It's freaking gorgeous besides the character designs. The backgrounds are detailed and the burst that they are fighting look incredible. The climax of this film shows exactly why Bones is one of the best studios for anime out there right now.
Aiko! 大丈夫Aiko? 怪我は危ないじゃない。ごめんなさい。
Studio Bones is of course known for having some of the best animation in the industry right now, and A.I.C.O is another example of why they're one of the studios on top. To start off, there is a lot of action in this series that I really enjoyed from beginning to end. The battles in the middle of the series is an example of how well done the animation for the series is. For example, the final battle of this series is something that I'd compare to a video game boss battle. No spoilers, but it's such a compelling fight because of everything that's happening in it. And that's not to say it overwhelms you. No, it's actually a very well-paced sequence that really gets the viewers engaged. More examples are particle effects from the guns, especially the ones that seem to have electricity. Those look really cool. Not only that, but the action sequences in terms of character movements is also very well done. You aren't going to be getting these scenes with incredible fluid detail, but you will get some pretty decent fluid animation to look at. As for the CGI, while it's not a huge part in the show, it's not good either. The CGI used here is mostly for your background shots, and they kind of fall flat. The CGI felt cheap and somewhat tacked on to the experience, and to make matters worse, the CGI didn't even really need to be there. They could have found much better ways to do these parts than to use the CGI they did. Now, going back to normal 2D, I want to talk about the facial animations. Basically, how do the characters look during the show? Do they emote well? Do they look cool? And to be honest, they're solid. They're certainly the bare minimum of what I'd expect from a Bones anime, that's for sure. To add on to that, you have boring designs and you really have a recipe for something you don't want. And as a fan of Gargantua, I'm somewhat surprised how little was done with the animation for these characters because Gargantua had some pretty solid animation for their characters. Here we get what's necessary, and because of that, the characters look somewhat emotionless at times. But still, overall, the facial animations, they're not too bad. They're solid. It's just at times for a majority of the characters, they're not that good. Wow. Okay. The English dub for this anime is one of the worst English dubs I have heard ever. This dub is 90s OVA levels of bad acting, and I'm left wondering why that is. With dubs like Be the Beginning and Violet Evergarden, I'm surprised this dub out of all of them was the worst one. The studio that did this dub was AICO Media Group, and upon Googling them, I couldn't find any information about them at all. This is strange because, of course, we know who did the dubs for the other Netflix shows like Bang Zoom, but this studio is completely unknown to me. Voice actors like Alex Alvarez and Christina Joplin for the two main characters respectively, I've never heard of, and they do an awful job here. I'm not sure if these actors are amateur or just had an awful experience working this job, but I'd love for Netflix to go and redo this anime's dub, to be honest. It's so bad I had to switch over because, believe it or not, each episode got worse and worse with the dub.
It looks like your muscles are recovering.
Huh? Oh, good evening, Dr. Isazu.
It won't be long before you're walking properly.
筋力は回復してきてるね。
こんばんは、イサズ先生。
もう少しでちゃんと歩けるようになるよ。
Music is done by Taro Iwashiro, who is known for Gargantua on the Verdurous Planet, H2, and Arslan Senki, among others. His score in this anime is pretty solid. I can't say I noticed it a lot in this anime, but going back over the anime, there were some nice moments with the score. I'd say the last 3 episodes, maybe episode 4, are also pretty solid score-wise and are the best examples of how good the score could get in this series. Either way, though, it's your standard action anime score, honestly. If you've watched Gargantua on the Verdurous Planet, borrows a lot from that. Other than that, it's solid. Yeah, it's got that going for it, I guess.
あ、大丈夫。さっき立てたし。あなたも病院から通ってるの？
Final rating time. Aiko is fine. It's not good or bad per se. It's just an anime that I'd recommend you probably watch if you have the time. It's a good filler on your plan to watch list and does just enough to be worth the time and effort it takes to watch it. Easily, this is one of the weaker Bones anime that I've seen, but also, it's not the worst out there in terms of anime that's come out in winter 2018. So far, Aiko is probably top 10 when it comes to anime that have aired this season. Aiko Incarnation gets a 6 out of 10. So, the first thing you're probably going to say is, SeaTactics, you kind of just pooped all over that anime during the whole review and you gave it a 6 out of 10. That's pretty favorable. And while I agree I did poop on a lot of this anime, it's still a good anime. When you take all of it as what it is as a whole package, it's still a Bones anime. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things I didn't like about this anime. There's a lot of things that just aren't good about this anime. This anime was obviously rushed. I don't know how long it took, but man oh man, this one got rushed. There's no question about it. This one got rushed. The English dub was rushed. The Japanese voice acting felt a little rushed at times as well. It was rough around the edges, like it was. For a Bones anime, I'd expect a lot better. But it felt rough around the edges. It felt a little hollow. It felt a little uninteresting. But it was an okay anime, all things considered. 12 episodes, what you gave me, I'm good with it. Would I buy this on Blu-ray? If I see it on sale, yeah, I'd for sure pick it up if it was on sale. But I think the big problem with this anime wasn't really anything within the anime itself. I think the anime is rated perfectly fine, to be honest. I think it's the whole, yo, Netflix is the savior of anime. Come over to Netflix where the gods of anime are, and let's hop on Netflix's junk and start riding it, when in reality, you probably shouldn't be doing that to begin with. You probably shouldn't be giving studios a la carte statements like that where it's just, yeah, Netflix is the savior of anime. No one should be the savior of anything. That's ridiculous. I watch a lot of pro wrestling, and there's a lot of pro wrestling characters that are the savior of things. Or some characters are the savior of everything. And guess who they are? They're the bad guys. You know why? Because that's completely unrealistic. I'm not sure what people's fascination with these days of labeling things the savior, the best thing ever, this is hype. I don't get that. To me, hype is the most overused phrase. It's completely ridiculous and should stop being used. And this is why I keep saying it. Hype kills everything. And I feel like no one gets that, but it keeps happening. Look at the video game Destiny. It happened with it. Look at Destiny 2. It happened with it again. And no one learns. And it happens with anime all the time. All the time. It happens with anime because people in the fan base hype themselves up and they go, yeah, this anime is going to be great. It's going to be the greatest thing ever made. They've already decided it, already made up their minds that it's the greatest thing ever. These are the kind of people that honestly would probably say things like, if they got a girlfriend for 2 weeks, they're like, she's the one for me. Just so you know, no one's the one. This is an anime that fell victim to that, and it's kind of sad. It didn't deserve anywhere near the level of hype, and I use that in air quotes because I don't like using the word hype. It didn't deserve it. It didn't deserve any of this level of whatever it got. It just didn't. And I feel like because people have been making a big hubbub about Netflix being the savior of anime, which is completely freaking ridiculous, I feel like this anime kind of got hurt from that. They probably just watched the English dub and went, this is a very, very bad anime. It's got like almost a 6 on my anime list. And I'm just like, I know why it got that. I know why it got that because I felt felt people. And the same would Be the Beginning. Be the Beginning. Not as critically acclaimed as people wanted it to be. Why? Because they hyped it up. That's what they did. They hyped it up. There's a little bit of a ramble here at the end of this video, but I think it's something that can be related to AICO Incarnation. And it's sad because a lot of people are going to watch this anime and just not get any of the hatred, the absolute vitriol this anime is getting. But yeah. It's good anime. It's a good anime. I'd add it to my plan to watch anytime to watch it casually. I may even watch it again. I really liked it. Even though it's a 6 out of 10, a lot of people think that even if I score things low, that I can't enjoy something. I don't rate on enjoyment. I rate purely on, is this good? Is this bad? What do I like about this? What do I hate about this? So anyways, did you enjoy this review? Did you enjoy that weird ramble at the end? Oh, that was weird. Did my review help you decide to watch the anime, or did it help you decide to not watch the anime? I love to hear your thoughts and opinions on the anime as well if you watched it already on Netflix, which you can watch it over there right now, along with Be the Beginning and Violet Evergarden, which I also do highly recommend, and Devilman. I also highly kind of recommend that, I guess, if you like crazy stuff. Anyways, thank you guys for watching the review. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for checking out this bonus review, by the way. Not a lot of people realize this came out on a Saturday. This is a completely bonus video that I did for the weekend. See ya! Bye-bye!